And welcome to another episode of Table of Geequals. I am your host, Alex, here with your co-host of the week, Gavin.
Hey.
And here with us we have Ivy Jones.
Hello.
And Larry Gent.
Back again.
We tried to keep him out of the building, but he got in.
I told you that restraining order, you had to file it earlier.
Fair enough. Oh, I forgot to say, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
No bitching. So, Ivy, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Anything new and exciting, geek-wise or otherwise, in your life?
I've just been keeping up with Game of Thrones, reading the books and watching the show, which was pretty dramatic.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've seen the first season. I saw the first episode, and when the Lannister guy pushed the kid out of the window, I was like, this is the show for me. That was great.
After all the sister fucking?
Yeah. It was just like, all right, I can get into this show.
Were you expecting then? Is
I had no idea what to expect when I watched
No,
this
I
show.
meant, was your woman expecting then? You're like, yeah, push the kid out. That's awesome.
No, we had the kid at that point.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you weren't sleeping. That's why you love that scene so much.
Well, I love the show, and I've read the books ages ago, which leads me to the problem is it's been 10 years. I don't think you can claim spoilers at this point. The rest of us know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it certainly has reached a larger audience.
Oh, absolutely. But it's just
the...
like what people, don't tell me what happened, don't tell me what happened. You know what? Everybody dies. Your favorite character is dead.
Well, yeah, and see, here's the great thing about tonight. I've only seen the first season. I will at some point be seeing the rest of it, I'm sure. But from what I understand from my time on Reddit, this week's episode has been reviled by many fans who maybe weren't expecting certain things to happen. What did you guys think about this week's
Well, most people have
episode?
forgotten the number one rule when dealing with George R.R. Martin, and that's don't love.
Don't
he
love
will
anyone.
kill everything and anything you love.
So he's like worse than Whedon.
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
We will bring him back.
Exactly. But no,
I'm still waiting for Wash to come back. Oh, God.
It's been a long time.
I laughed so hard when that happened.
man,
A heartless monster.
I am a heartless monster, but I know that Alan Tudyk was laughing. He probably took the model home with him and put it on his front lawn.
I mean, it was a hurtful death, but just the way it was done, it was that Whedon serious moment, slam you with comedy. Or just a hint of it.
You mean the whole, like, I'm a leaf on the wind?
I'm a leaf on the wind to splam. Oh, I've been pierced.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it a lot in, like, Buffy and Angel, where Buffy and Angel are having, like, this romantic talk, and he's like, it's like I'm holding your heart in my hand, caressing it carefully. And that's a really disturbing image when you think about it. It's, such a romantic line that he ruins with a punchline.
All right, so George R.R. Martin is worse than Whedon. I mean, I saw the first season, so of course I was not happy to see my favorite character die.
That was the whole point, though.
Yeah.
He was the only nice one. The only one who had any sort of
What about
moral...
the imp?
The imp is... he's complicated in his...
The imp is a
next
complicated
season, you'll
man.
probably... he's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second half of this book / next season, he is taking... If you think he's complicated now, he's just taking leaps up.
Yeah.
Just keep him away from a crossbow. Should be fine.
But no, they've actually... it's now a TV trope called the Stark Syndrome. Is to bring in a big actor that everyone loves, knowing he's only going to be there for such a limited amount of time.
So, I mean, I think everybody... I don't think anybody was surprised, though, seeing as he was played by Sean Bean.
Yeah.
He did play a recurring role in Sharp's Rifles, and that is all. Over his 20-some-odd-year acting career.
Yeah. 30.
No sequels.
No, yeah, like, I mean, the guy dies well.
Oh, yeah.
You have to admit.
I'm more
seen
surprised
in,
when there's a movie that he hasn't died in. I mean, two Silent Hill films, and the guy's still kicking.
He walked off into the mist. He's not coming back.
He didn't die, though.
All right. I liked it in Equilibrium when he gets shot right through the poetry book.
See, my favorite
It was poetic.
It was.
Yeah.
Was it Patriot Games? when he gets stabbed on a boat and then exploded with the boat. Like, that's just a perfect... Stabbing
overkill.
wasn't enough. I've died so many times, Harrison Ford. You'll have to go the extra mile.
You know, he did actually survive Ronin.
Did he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he got fired. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's assumed that the IRA capped him as soon as he was off camera, but he didn't actually die on screen.
Lord of the Rings is still totally the best one, though. He gets hit with like 15 arrows and he's still swinging, and then all of a sudden, down.
I don't know.
I-
Stabbed and blown up on a boat.
But I
15
keep
arrows.
looking at the Fellowship of the Ring, and all I think is that scene from Ace Ventura where he's got like a javelin each leg, and he's going, 2 is too much.
Anything else new and exciting?
No, that's pretty much it.
Wow, that's all you have in your life right now?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I started reading, have you guys heard of the Red Mars, like, trilogy?
Yeah.
Like, I started reading the first one. I'm, like, halfway through it now. It's a lot more than what I expected.
It's some pretty good science fiction.
It's
I think
really-
you'll probably enjoy that one quite a lot.
Yeah, it's really dense and, like, super sciencey. Like, it's very much about, like, bacteria and, like, oxygenating the atmosphere and shit. And, like, I kind of knew that was what it was going to be, but, like, the science is so well laid out that it seems feasible.
Yeah,
Potentially,
the
if
old
the money
school
is there.
sci-fi was like that.
Yeah.
Heinlein, my absolute favorite, would write entire asides on how the engines work.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it go like, of course, if you have no interest in interstellar space flight, you probably could have skipped that page.
Robert J. Sawyer's a lot like that. I'm reading the WWW trilogy about the internet emerging as an intelligence.
Yeah.
And there's random points, because our main character is a genius from a family of geniuses, where there's points where they all just stop and randomly talk about mathematical genius stuff, or randomly go on physics stuff. And I can keep up sometimes with the math. I am a math major, but a lot of them just like, this is a genius break. I can skip like this chapter, because they're just... It's like he's proving his intelligence one chapter at a time.
He's a really nice guy. I met him at the Aurora Awards a few years ago.
He's coming to Halcon this year. I cannot wait to meet him.
Calculating God, fantastic book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it.
Well, I just got it in the mail and I just read the first couple of pages, but highly recommended by a friend of mine, a book called TikTok by John Slowdeck.
I don't know that one.
It's
So not the Keisha song then.
no.
Okay.
It's based on like the Asimov rules of robotics. So there's a robot named TikTok that he has his inhibitor chip fail, and he discovers that he not only can harm humans, he actually enjoys it, and so it kind of chronicles him going through his life as a robot that can kill humans, but of course nobody suspects the robot because robots can't kill humans. And I'm not giving anything away because it says this on the back of the book. He becomes the first robot to be nominated for vice president of the United States. So
Because he can kill humans. So you're saying if you can kill humans or shoot your buddy in the face and get away with it and get him to apologize, you can be VP?
Cheney's a cyborg.
Yes. I think we just proved that Cheney is in fact a cyborg.
Literally, he's got like a robotic thing that controls hurt.
Is he really still kicking around?
Yeah,
Kicking
only
is
the
a
good die
relative term.
young.
All right. So Larry, anything new and exciting in your life?
Not even remotely close.
All right, moving on. So the Week in Geek. This week, we found out that a new Star Wars show is set to premiere in late fall 2014.
Another one.
Well, I'm
Another one.
super happy and excited about this. I would just have liked if they finished the Clone Wars. I want to know what happens to the Padawan.
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else can go away. Give me a video game, give me a comic book, whatever. I just want to know what happens to the Padawan.
I've seen some really dark fan fiction that explains in horrifyingly gruesome detail what happens to her. But maybe that's not what you're looking for. Derek, can you find that for Gavin?
What am I looking for?
Never mind.
I've got very little innocence left. Please don't do this to me.
But no, Ahsoka she's a character I watched in Clone Wars knowing that she had to die.
She could go into hiding. Yoda did it.
True.
Keep in mind that none of the books are now canon.
That they still are. They have not rebooted it yet. And there's talks that they're not going to.
They've already said that none of them are canon. They said that when Lucasfilm was bought. I'm pretty sure Disney said that the books
I
are
don't
no
think
longer
they said
canon.
that the books were no longer canon. I think that they said that they might not draw from the books as like
That sounds
story.
a little more realistic because
Derek.
honestly,
Do you have a moment?
The universe in the book is just so huge.
but they've changed it. They warped
Would
the
you
canon
check and
anyway.
see if the
Like
books
the Drift
will
and the
still be canon?
Mandalorians.
The Star Wars books will still be canon?
Now, as
Thank
an
you.
avid EU reader, the expanded universe, I've
Hey,
seen
adjust your glasses when you say that.
I've seen books been officially taken out of canon because things Lucas wrote when he wrote the prequels or when he did different projects or things he said has proven that this book or this small series can no longer be
Yeah.
or no longer exist in canon, or this can no longer exist in canon. Because when the books first came out, there was no oversight to them. After Timothy Zahn started the first Thrawn and it became popular, the company just said whatever, write whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, a lot of Star Wars books were
Just becomes glorified fan fiction.
a lot more glorified fan fiction.
I
Others
would
were
argue the glorified.
others were Star Trek books that basically they just search replace. Yeah.
That's interesting because I've always had the same problem with I was never as big into Star Wars as I was into Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up reading the relaunch of Deep Space Nine novels, which were actually really good up until a point. But
I've heard the same about the relaunch of the Voyager, continuing
Yeah.
when Voyager got back and how everyone got their promotions.
Well, and that's all well and good, but some of the books were actually really good at not contradicting one another. But then another movie like Nemesis would come out, and that would just destroy parts of canon. But then again, it was Nemesis, so
Nemesis, leaving the books alone. It's like, you know what? Screw the Prime Directive. We have Dune buggies. I mean, every other Star Trek series, they'll mention the Prime Directive, usually when they're explaining why it's okay to break it just this once. But this one, they're like, screw it, Dune buggies. Hiya, Bronze Age civilization.
But
going-
Dune buggies break all prior rules
Clearly.
because it's a Dune buggy.
Then going back to Star Wars, as I said, so the books were just money-making schemes for a long time. And then I believe it's Del Rey. I may be wrong on this one. But they took over Lucas Books, and then they put a massive amount of oversight into it. And they started making sure that, technology had to line up. And they started building a current timeline. And massive series, like the New Jedi Order series, which lasted for 6-7 years. And there's almost 20-some books in there. And then the books took a massive step up, where they realized we have a lot of dedicated fans, so we actually have to make these books good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with most of these franchise owners. They don't realize until well into their development of that franchise how into it nerds can get. We are the types of people to really pay attention and pick apart little details. I mean, like I say, I never got hugely into Star Wars, but I loved running a Star Wars campaign. After it took place after the Yuuzhan Vong invasion, and just all sorts of crazy stuff happening, and there was such a wealth of information to run off of, and it was really helpful for me, but it was interesting. And of course, working in a comic book store, I've had lots of people who love Star Wars tell me all sorts of crazy, awesome things about the universe that I never would have known otherwise. But I don't know, will you be upset if any of it is slashed down for the sake of a mediocre, or dare I say, possibly even shitty TV series or movie?
I don't know. I've seen books, as I said, come and go, and most of this show is supposed to be in between that fabled mythological time between 3 and 4 that everyone wants to touch because it's never been officially touched. And I've already seen a lot from there been slashed.
Mm-hmm. What if it follows... What was the Padawan's name?
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka? What if it follows her?
That'd be interesting.
A hiding Jedi.
I could get behind that, but
Yeah.
Same time, you've got the... Was it Dark Forces? The Warrior Star Killer.
Oh, It's not Dark Force. It's Star Wars Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, yeah.
Yeah, those take place during that same time period.
Oh, do they?
And the first one was amazing.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I
Second
mean,
game was
honestly,
just a little
you put a
unpolished.
Star Wars logo on it, I'm buying it. I mean, I've got juice glasses, shower curtain, towels, the whole nine. I'm not well adjusted about this, and I accept that.
That's how Lucas made his money.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm right up there. I'm excited to see what the 3 EA companies are going to do with Star Wars.
You know, give me Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Seeing
Knights of the
Battlefield
Old
do
Republic
Battlefront.
3. Whatever, I'm happy.
What was
another bounty hunter
What was
game?
the real-time strategy game that they made years ago?
There's 2 of them, and I've got both on both of my games shelf. I just can't for life me think of the name at the moment.
Do you remember? No.
No, I have no
I
idea.
The one I think was Battleground.
Battleground, yes.
Yes. That
And
was
it's
an
something
awesome
very
game.
satisfying about your squad of Wookiees and jetpacks taking down an Imperial Walker.
Or you could, I forget the cheat name, but you could make an Ewok that shot lasers and was
Yeah.
basically
Yeah,
indestructible.
that's the one that came out almost 10 years ago.
Like,
And then
that
there was one that
all
came
it
out about
did.
5 years ago, and the best part of that one was changing the history, because they did, what if the Empire won missions?
Oh, that's
and you're
neat.
there going, no, I just blew up Yavin. That was freaking awesome. Screw you, rebels.
Well,
That was easy.
Why didn't we shoot through the planet the first time? It's a gas planet.
Okay, so how it should have ended. Big
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Well, what I love, and this was, I guess, expanded upon in the novels. What I love is the fact that the Empire, as far as the movies are concerned, built a huge, slow-moving, hulking death ray to deal with a scattered rebel force. Like it doesn't really. It's like
Well,
it's like
they were-
taking an air. It's like taking all of your navy into like into the Gulf and using that to deal with the Taliban.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't really why they made the Death Star.
I realize that. I realize
Okay.
that in the expanded universe, this is what a customer.
Oh, I have the same customer.
Okay, I love this. I absolutely love
I
this.
have the same customer.
I think
And
it's
the
his doctoral thesis, I swear.
In the expanded universe, it's basically explained that the Empire was building these as a way to counter the Yuuzhan Vong.
Because they terraform.
Exactly,
So
they terraform planets.
blow up the planet, stop the terraforming.
Like that's just amazing.
So what did they build it?
So the Yuuzhan Vong again. Now see, they've converted. them.
Yuzong Vong are a big biological race.
Okay.
They come from outside of the galaxy.
Okay.
And-
You gotta remember,
and
Star Wars
they're-
Galaxy in its universe only is a very, very, very small pocket. There's so much more. But they were this biological race. And it was supposed to be biological versus tech. Creatures who have no force versus Jedis.
Yeah,
And what they did is they'd land on planets and then just change into like a jungle planet.
like they took over Coruscant,
The entire
shining,
city-wide
the
planet.
shining jewel of the Empire. They took that over.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know, like it, and so like the whole big thing was supposed to be apparently the Emperor knew about this and was preparing for it, which is kind of cool.
It's again when the new company took over and they very much wanted to make sure the books made sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't just people going, now we're fighting people who look like, I don't know, space giraffes.
You know, some more like PG-rated Cinnabites. But
But they actually made it coherent. They made it good. They made it
Yeah.
so people, the diehard, so those who would buy every book when it came out, because those books were going to New York Times seller lists. That
Well-
when these books came out, that they were layered, that they were deep, that these were things akin to what you would find major authors writing, and not just something with the Star Wars tag on it.
So going back to the TV series though, Clone Wars, was it good? I never got into it because again I'm not a huge Star Wars guy.
it was well better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
They did a great job with the universe, a great job with the aliens. Good old Darth Maul got his ass-kicking bionic legs, which was
Sweet.
pretty cool because I didn't think he got enough screen time in the first movie.
Yeah, he was the best part of the first movie.
And they played him up so much too. Like he was in all the promo, and then
Yeah.
he was only in the movie for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and one little fight scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big letdown.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like 10.
But still,
when you're
that
15,
was an
it's
awesome
even
fight
worse.
scene.
You're like, I need to see. Ah.
I was young enough that the first Star Wars movie that I saw was actually Episode 1.
It was the
Oh
first.
my god!
I know.
Wait, first one ever?
Yeah.
Oh
Oh.
my
Like
god!
I had like in its entirety. I had obviously seen like bits and pieces of Episode 4 like on TV, and like my parents had a copy of it on VHS, but like I never saw the whole thing. And then I saw Episode 1, and then I watched all the old ones.
See, I'm really looking forward to before my son hears anything about it. Like, I want to sit him down and show him the original trilogy. Just like, and like I have the original trilogy without the added effects on VHS. This is the only reason I still have a tape player.
You know, the first Star Wars I saw was Special Edition. I saw that first.
That's sad. Like, that hurts my heart a little bit.
I saw the original release of Star Wars on beta.
Betamax.
But I did see Empire, and I don't know what was wrong with my parents. They brought me to the theater, and I couldn't have been much older than 6.
Oh no.
You know, who brings a 6-year-old to a theater? But I remember even being the little nerdy proto Gavin that back then, I'm like, the good guys lost. This is epic.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
It's like,
A big
okay,
deal.
it didn't go right. We are hooped, but we're coming back from it. It's like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's fandom.
well, hopefully they do a good job with.
Yeah, I don't think they can't. I think Disney's done quite well by their fan base for a long time with animated series.
Yeah.
And I think their writers now literally grew up with Star Wars. So it's not a matter of, say, George Lucas trying to write science fiction and creating Star Wars, and then trying to write Star Wars and creating schlock.
Yeah.
This is somebody who literally came up watching Star Wars. They read this was their fandom. So I think we're in good hands. I really feel like the new movies, the TV show, and probably even the video games are all going to be better than we're used to.
And you know that Disney has the money to throw at it too, because they're so huge.
Well, I mean that's all they really want. Now, I have noticed with Marvel that it's not quite as hands off as I was
Once promised.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot more tie-in type stuff where they're trying to make more money,
Oh, definitely.
which definitely makes sense. I mean, they bought it for like a lot of money.
From what I'm reading here, they say that they don't like the idea of going into book worlds, but nothing has been said by anyone official.
Okay.
I browse forums and it's like, nope, this is definitely it, so you guys are wrong. Then the next person's like, no, fuck you, you're wrong. So...
Ah,
you
the
will.
Star Wars forums.
Yeah, at this
You
point, can pretty much just
scruffy-looking
pick whatever you
nerf
want, and you're right, apparently.
Yeah, if that was your first foray into Star Wars forums, they get much.
Turn back
Oh,
now.
yeah,
Much
absolutely.
worse.
This is the last one, too.
When someone says you're wrong and then describing how wrong you are by what a Sarlacc would do to you, you know you've gotten it wrong.
Slowly digested for 1,000 years.
That's why it took me so long to fucking find the answer. I was like, I'm reading through the forums and I'm like, man, what? I was looking for like some sort of like clear cut,
Spelling?
yes,
Punctuation?
no, it's little, I just, no, I'm done. I'm out.
Thank you for delving into that darkness for us.
Yeah, well, we'll see if I can sleep tonight.
Did you see like the Sarlacc / fiction?
That always comes up with me, man. No, I haven't. Should I look it up?
No.
I'm assuming it exists. I haven't seen anything myself.
Oh,
Well,
it definitely
I won't do
exists.
that
You
right
willed
now.
it into
Thank you.
existence.
All right, moving on. Henry Cavill wants a DC crossover.
Actually, Superman, Batman, I think is how we get Justice League.
I think that it's long overdue, and like I've said, I think for 3 episodes now of this show, get your fucking
Warner
ass in
Brothers,
here.
you have all the rights. You have none of the problems that Marvel does.
Just fucking do it.
I think it's fairly interesting, and I think we touched on this a little bit last week with Quicksilver and
Yeah, with
Scarlet
Scarlet
Witch.
Witch.
I think Marvel's really just trying to get Quicksilver in there before we see the Flash for a new generation.
It's true. That must be it because because it is a ripoff of the Flash.
Yeah, but if they get there out to the movies first, right?
Yeah, and then everybody gets to the theater for the Justice League
Like,
film.
I mean, and I work in a
Man,
comic
they
shop.
totally ripped off of Marvel.
You work in a comic shop.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure at some point when Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern came out, you heard some kid going like, I thought Green Lantern was black. Because literally a lot of kids only knew it from the TV show.
Yeah. Well, and then, like, we have a poll right now up on the front of our store, like, which was your favorite Marvel movie so far? Avengers is in the lead, but I've heard numerous people say, like, why isn't Batman up here? And so, like, it sounds a little silly to, like, the hardcore nerds, but a lot of people don't really know that there are these lines between the universes.
Especially when you start mixing the Marvel characters. Like, when you're, like, saying Spider-Man and Wolverine can be in something, then why can't Batman be in there, too? That's just, like, from the outside looking in, I can understand that.
Yeah,
Marvel
so
just
can
means
I,
comics
totally.
to some people.
Yeah, like,
You know?
and I mean, it is what it is. I don't judge them for it.
Sure you don't.
It doesn't help that they've done their
Comic book
crossovers.
stores are about judging your... No,
absolutely.
it's really not.
It's one of the only places you can judge your customers and still get them to come in next week.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, we get a lot of people who come in and they'll try to complain about something that they think I should be
Passionate about?
Well, they try to get me to, like, be on their side. Like, they'll come in and they'll complain about, like, a certain fandom that they think that I might not be into, or they'll come in and they'll complain about another store, or whatever, just like I'm sure they do at every other store. And I'm polite. I was just like, that sounds awful. Now, my genuine feeling is, if you've had a bad experience anywhere, I'm really sorry for you, because it reflects badly on on the whole industry. But, like, my overall feeling on it is, it's all good. We're all friends.
Absolutely.
Same with, like, the different fandoms. Like, I'm not going to judge you if you're into My Little Pony, just like I'm not going to judge you if you're into G.I. Joe or Transformers. I don't fucking understand Transformers, but...
We'll see the robots that change
In
into
disguise.
vehicles.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Thank you.
Robots in disguise.
I'm 27 tomorrow, and I'm breaking this microphone, but I'm 27 years old tomorrow, and I had no idea. Thank you, Larry.
Well, see,
Thank you.
I'm glad I could help.
Ah, perfect.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
The thing about Superman and Batman is they've already said that they don't want to incorporate the Nolan Batman universe.
No, I know.
And then they are like, well, we'd have to reboot the Batman, and it's kind of too soon for that.
Yeah, the thing is, they don't need to reboot anything. Unfortunately, well, okay. For the fans, they don't need to reboot anything. Yes, for the average, everyday moviegoer, you're right. They would need to reboot
I think
everything.
even the average everyday moviegoer's got a pretty solid handle on Batman at this point.
But I have
Dead parents,
so many people
bat
coming
fetish,
in saying,
off you go.
So in the next Batman movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to play Batman? No. That's what most people seem to have gotten out of the latest movie. Out of my conversation with people, I don't bring up the movie anymore to people, because that's what people are saying. Like,
well, to my mind, it was a decent Batman movie, it was a great bookend to that trilogy.
Yeah,
of
I
Batman
like that
movies.
trilogy. But I get what you're saying. Like, it is almost too early to bring it up for most of the movie-going public, it feels like, because they don't see the Nolanverse as what it actually was, which was a short Batman story. It wasn't meant to be... But, like, with Spider-Man...
Well, I'll be honest, I don't think it was ever meant to be this short thing. I think they did Batman Begins, then they did Dark Knight, and then everyone wanted Dark Knight 2.
But the way that they approached it was so completely different than the way that the whole universe is set up in the comic books, because the comic books are so full of, like, magic and crap that they don't bother to bring into this, like, super serious, gritty cop drama set in Chicago.
To be realistic, you know?
But there's, like, if you do that, then if you tell a Batman story like that, of course it has to be bookended and kind of not indicative of the entire universe, just a certain go of it.
Yeah. So, as much as it pains me, I guess I'd have to agree, like, they really would have to do, like,
for sure,
a new story, and otherwise people are just going to be confused. But then, on the other hand, I've always maintained, with these huge characters, once there's been one origin story, like... with Spider-Man, perfect example. With The Amazing Spider-Man, I don't think they needed to do another origin story like they did at the beginning of that film. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
And if they don't, then just sit back and watch it and try to enjoy some of the action, because, like, really, I'm sick of seeing that shit.
Exactly.
I agree with you, but in the original, the last series of movies before The Amazing, he had the organic web shooters. So if you then reboot with the mechanic web shooters, but without actually showing the origin again, there's going to be people that are going to lose the thread.
I guess
you can't really, you don't really want to make the movie for the stupid people or the people that don't know. But if you don't make it for them, no one's going to watch it.
Yes, at a certain point, like I just want to see more movies, more good movies, and if there's a little thing like that, but it was awesome, I'm gonna enjoy it nonetheless.
You about to say something, Ivy?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if you talking about consistency, you did the difference between organic web shooters and having the machine ones. Like, why couldn't you pick one at the same time?
Agreed. But I mean, look at one of Larry's favorite characters, our Wolverine. Yes. I mean, up until recently, we had no damn idea what Wolverine's backstory was. It had been retconned so many times. I mean, he's a mutated Wolverine created by the High Evolutionary. No, he's a natural mutant. No, he's a special breed of mutants. No, he's an Omega mutant. Okay, fine. You know what? People still went to see the movies.
Yeah, but...
And I'm still excited to see the Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm hoping they actually...
Because Hugh Jackman's so dreamy.
He is. I get lost in his eyes.
His eyes are
all
beautiful.
the time. I know.
Why a 6'4" Australian is playing a 5'2" Canadian? I mean, honest to God, Bruno Gerussi was born for that role.
I love when his accent kind of slips into the lines and you get Australian Wolverine. It's a nice little
I'm
flavor
Canadian,
change
Bob.
up.
He said, "Bub, I'll take it."
And he said it with a cigar in his mouth, so it's good.
Yeah, I'll take that too.
I did have to say, reading the Henry Cavill article, I wanted to punch him. I didn't.
You know, it'd probably hurt, right?
Superman, yeah, Superman, yeah. No, it's just, he sounded, I don't know, he sounded kind of annoying.
Well, some of the early World's Best were pretty annoying anyway, so...
no, it's just like in the way he talks about it. It was like it was a very non-answer to the question on whether he would want to do it. It was just very like he was trying to say something without actually ever really saying anything. It was just very full of non-answering words. Anyway,
yeah, that's
for me. I found watching him speak about Superman and watching him speak, especially in this article,
it was almost vacant.
A little, yeah, but you also get that. I'm going to compare him to Ryan Reynolds talking about Deadpool, both past and possible future of Deadpool.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds is so excited. Now he's knowing that the odds of it are lessening every day.
Yeah,
but he's so excited to be that there's still a possibility of him doing Deadpool and him doing it right. You can tell he enjoys the character. He knows the character. He wants to be this character.
He's happy to have a job.
Yeah. That pizza place can only go for so long.
Right.
But Henry's just Mr. Superman here. He doesn't seem to have the same passion that Ryan Reynolds does for being Deadpool. I mean, Ryan Reynolds says, "Yeah, I know Deadpool wasn't what we all wanted. That's why I wanted to do the Deadpool movie."
Yeah.
But you can still see it in his eyes and the way he speaks. And
I think we'll see how the video game goes, and if that actually brings it more into the cultural zeitgeist. Which I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, like, when does that come out?
This fall, I think.
God, it's still so far
for
away.
Christmas. It'll be
fall is the big video game season. That's when they'll hit you with all their good stuff.
That's the one with Nolan North in it doing all the voices, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nolan North can have my children. Seriously, that man is such an amazing voice actor.
For sure.
There's at least 2 things wrong with that statement.
But many things right. There was one game where he got multiple roles. And so for like 10 minutes, there was character A and character B talking to each other. And both were voiced by Nolan North. And it was great to watch.
And, yeah, I don't want to know what you did during that time. So
well,
we'd all love to see a DC...
at the start of the cutscene.
We'd all love to see a DC crossover. Will it happen in a timely manner? Probably not.
I don't think Superman Batman.
No.
But I think they could probably use it to bring in the rest of the Justice League.
Why not? I mean, like I say, they don't need to do a fucking origin story for everybody.
Because, I mean, well...
But
just do it.
Superman and Batman, that seems like their choice, their step, the perfect step.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Batman, everyone knows Superman.
But everybody knows Wonder Woman. Most people know who Flash is. Everybody knows who Green Lantern is.
Mm-hmm.
None of these characters... Like, I'd love to see another super movie done in the style of, like, Hancock. Let me finish.
I actually liked Hancock.
Until the end. It was a good film, in my opinion. But where you don't find out, like, at the beginning of the film, where he got his powers and all this origin bullshit, you just sent, like... Bam! All of a sudden, there's this superhero named Hancock.
Because do we need to know the history of Hancock? Fuck no. It's Will Smith, and he's smashed, and he's a drunk dude that smashes shit.
Do we need to know the history of?
It was very simple. I am not your typical superhero. I'm basically Superman if he was drunk and didn't give a shit.
And that's why I liked it. Honestly, I liked Hancock too, and I'll gladly Hancock 2 is being filmed, and I'll watch that as well because it's just so simple. It's not supposed to be like. You don't need the backstory of Hancock. He just is a dude that has some powers, and hey, this is what he does with them.
Okay, so then Flash movie. Open up on a crime scene where, what's... God, I'm having one of those days.
Wally West.
Thank you.
Barry Allen. See, actually, I want a Wally West movie. I want them to do a Flash movie starting with Wally West taking over after Barry Allen dies.
See, that would be kind of cool.
Instead of an origin, you talk about living up to a legacy movie.
And just say, like,
but because
this was an amazing superhero.
Yeah.
Now it's being thrust upon you.
But because of DC's new rules, we'll never see it. DC's new rule is all of their products now have to start emulating the New 52. It's why Young Justice was canceled. Despite being a high-rated show.
Okay, that actually makes sense.
It was canceled because... DC's trying to move everything into the New 52.
It's the same reason you see this the integration of movie stuff into the Marvel universe. They want, that cross appeal. But we talked about it last week. Yeah. The fact that they're doing that is just alienating their customer base. It isn't actually bringing anybody who does the movies into the comic books.
No, I would actually like to see a Martian Manhunter movie.
That'd be amazing.
Me too,
he's got the psychic abilities and all that, so you could literally just have him as sort of creating the world around him as he's investigating. Like, stick it back in the 40s. Have him as the detective.
And that'd be amazing as... Like, I would want to see an origin story of that. Like, him being brought to Earth against his will.
Yeah.
Like, that's
and
just cool.
even the way you could do psychic with cinematography now, right? Where it not just voices you hear, but you could do some pretty clever stuff where it's almost like seeing what people are actually thinking and then just snapping back to reality, I'm
like, full-on Matrix, spin around him, show the world... as he's perceiving it through psychometry, boom.
Then there's all the cool stuff you can do with his transformations as well, like becoming different people and blending into different environments. And
exactly right, because you've got a faceless character, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he's green, he can be anybody.
Yeah.
And he's got that artichoke head.
Well, yes.
But no.
But that's what I would like to see. It's not going to happen.
I even like to see some interesting arcs, like... The cartoon touched on it for a while, where the Martian Manhunter doesn't actually like humans that much.
How could you? You're psychic. You know what they're thinking.
Yeah, but he doesn't like it because he can't connect to them. He thinks they're jerks. They pulled him here against his will.
He thinks they're jerks because they are jerks.
And he was a cop, and all he did was he found them, a homicide cop. So all he did was finding people kill other people, and he hated humans.
Understandably so.
Don't we all? I want to ask you guys a question because I'm kind of on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
In 2015, there's an Ant-Man movie coming out.
Woo! Incorrigible or
Irredeemable?
Classic? Irredeemable, yeah.
I want to know what you guys think about this idea because I don't really know anything about it until I started watching Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which I fucking love, by the way.
That is an amazing show. That's another one I'm sad got canceled because of
now
integration.
There's another one coming on, and I'm like, fucking why?
That's the reason. Earth's Mightiest Heroes did really, really well. And, but then Avengers did amazing. Right. And they're like, oh, well maybe, because these are so different, right? Earth's Mightiest Heroes was closer to the Avengers we all knew growing up, reading comics. And they said, no, we want to make it closer to the movie. Mm-hmm. So they ended one and started the other.
Bullshit.
But Ant-Man is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Which Ant-Man is it? Is it Pym?
I think it's Pym.
Yes.
Because I like the Pym Ant-Man. It's kind of funny.
I think it's going to be great.
But that little spin-off series with the guy stealing the suit, I love that.
Irredeemable, written by Kirkman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ant-Man
it'll be
movie
good.
being directed by Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright.
That's
he
pretty
does
cool.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. And,
Right.
soon to be released. The World's End.
Yep, the end of the trilogy.
As long as he doesn't smack around his wife, I think we got a winner.
Who, Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those
or
big
we don't
things.
get Brian Bendis lovemaking.
So,
Stupid
Dan Harmon
Ultimates.
returning to Community.
Oh, that wasn't even Ultimates. That was standard line.
Was it?
Brian Michael Bendis, Ant-Man shrinking, and
Yeah.
then...
So, next topic.
Dan Harmon returning to Community.
I'm so behind on Community. I've only seen like the first 4 episodes of the first season.
Really?
Yeah.
Does
I-
anybody here? Do you guys watch Community?
I
Yeah.
do watch Community.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last few
I
episodes.
kind of felt like it should have ended in the 4th season.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been enjoying it, but it's just like about, I think the 2nd or 3rd episode of the 4th season, literally, Jeff looks at the rest of them and goes like, so this is the year we die.
That was third season.
Was it 3rd season?
That was
My
3rd
bad.
season.
Yeah.
I would have.
But-
I would have
but,
been like, I'm happy to see a 5th season coming.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
think
saying
it'll
this
be
is
good.
the last.
Yeah.
Or they're expecting it to be the last.
Well, Five in a movie?
and I think it's
6
great
in a
that
movie, yeah.
Harmon is back. I'm kind of happy that Chevy is gone.
See, I'm sad. The Chevy was my favorite character, hands down.
But how can you like
The-
for me I had a really hard time watching it because I knew that he was being such a prick to everybody on set.
That's what did it for me, too. I couldn't stand him. I'm like, if you're going to be that much of a dick, I don't even want you on this show full of people that are happily doing this show.
Now,
And
What was he
I like
doing?
Pierce, too, but he's just like...
They've never come out and said exactly what, but apparently, ever since the beginning, Chevy Chase has had issues with how the show's going and what direction his character's being taken and such. And
but
then
the problem is he's
been
never there.
And he's been locked into a contract, and he's been fulfilling it. He's finally allowed to get out of the contract, but the point is, he's not been making life easy on set. Because
He
he's
never
not
has.
enjoying
The
it.
Saturday Night Live, the movies he's been in, he's just he's a dick.
He's a
He's
dick.
got to express himself. He wants things to go his way. If you just like read about him, you kind of start to hate him, and that sucks because I kind of like Chevy Chase. Like I like some of his movies, like his old
Christmas
movies.
Vacation.
Right.
The original Vacation is still voted one of the top 10 comedies of all time.
Yeah, but I mean, like the thing is, I don't think he can complain about his character. Like he's gone on record, I'm pretty sure, about complaining about things like, oh, I'm only given like bit lines, I'm not given like this or that. The writers are saying it's because they don't know when he will be on set.
Yeah.
They don't know if he'll be there to film or not, so they can't make his character an integral part of the episode, and they can't give him any important lines, so they just gave him bit lines about, being racist, being just ignorant, just being a dick. So I don't know, like I'm
Makes
kind
sense.
of
A lot of his scenes are definitely done as inserts.
yeah. It's just like, would this scene matter if he was not here? No.
Especially in the second season onwards. The first
Yeah.
season, he was fairly strong in there, and you could see that's where they want him, and then things start to...
No, I wasn't a fan of him becoming like as big a villain as he was becoming, and like the episode with Fat Neil.
Yeah, that one.
Like,
Well, the
that
D&D
was
one,
just, like
him being the villain of that episode, for that one episode, I loved it. But the rest of the season where he just...
the trampoline. Like the trampoline
Yeah.
episode, like Jesus fucking Christ! Like he went from see, now you need to go on.
I have no
Netflix
idea.
and watch this shit.
Yeah.
But like the trampoline episode, like he, in my opinion, just like that was it for me. I was just like, I have no interest in Pierce's character.
I just can't help how much I relate to Troy and Abed. I really can't. Like I know that's the...
You actually have a show in your basement.
Well, and like so many times
Dad.
I'll do something where people look at me like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm just having fun over here." Like, I relate to them so much that I need to see them be them. I feed off it. I appreciate it a lot.
I think my big complaint, and it's cropped up in a couple of television shows as well, Big Bang Theory being another one, is like, I play Dungeons & Dragons. I play Dungeons & Dragons a lot. Mm-hmm. It's never like that.
No, like I don't know. Am I in the minority here? Do you guys have a character that you've been playing since you were a kid, and they have all these mystical items and all that?
I've got a few retired that I played a long time ago, but I still have the character sheets for.
Okay, but like they're not like you're a character you continually return.
The most I've done was, and I DM'd, so I rarely got to play, but I was with a group where we did 6 years.
Wow.
But each year, because we were all in school, so each year we did kind of like a season. That'd be one campaign one year, one campaign the next. But we kept in the same world. Mm-hmm. So Gavin plays his ranger for a year, for example, and then when we do the next one, he plays a whole new character. But we bump into Gavin's ranger. Now he's an NPC, and you get to see characters, the world evolve. And that's the most I've done. I've never done these. I've been playing this for 7 years. I finally got him to level 12. He's gotten this magic sword after 12 years of game playing. I've never gotten to that.
I never got into those kind of games.
You never roleplayed?
No, I didn't. The most like games that I played when I was a kid was like Pokemon cards.
All right. Well,
I wasn't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons.
You should try role playing.
We may have to copy Penny Arcade and do like a role playing. Geeks versus nerds recording us doing role playing.
Fuck it, let's just do LARPing. I'm in.
Oh my god!
Lightning bolt.
No.
Gavin, you're in with me. You're on my team.
Gavin's just going to be walking around the entire time in the park. No.
And I'll be following like, yeah, let's fucking kick some ass.
Okay, I'm just saying, wait, which version, what are we doing? Are we talking Nero? Are we talking Solar?
I have no idea what you're
If
talking
we're talking
about.
World of Darkness, I'm walking out now.
Put 10 points in for Sparkles. No.
Paper, rock, scissors.
Basically, Ivy. You should, like, the nerd community is filled with people who roleplay, obviously.
Well,
you should find some people and just give it a shot.
I don't know. My boyfriend does it, and
you should join him.
A bunch of his friends do it, and I don't know. It just...
And he hasn't pressured you into role-playing yet.
No.
Wow.
Let's
oh, shit.
kind of keep this...
I'm going to back away from that.
PG.
I apologize.
I think we all went to the same place the exact same time.
Oh, boy.
That's funny. I didn't go there. Thanks for taking me there, Gavin.
No one
was
wants to
trying
think
to
about-
stop you from going there.
No one wants to think about Dave having sex.
Ivy was getting that little twinkle in her eye. That,
Have you
that she
watched
looked
him?
crush you.
No, no.
So
See,
what?
You should. They should have a game where you get to like sit in and just watch, because it's almost like
I disagree completely. Watching D&D is the worst thing in the world in my mind.
Boring.
if you have an entertaining group.
Even then, it is still one of the worst things you can do.
Well, you can always
You
sit
can
in
always
on my
sit
story
in
game.
and
It's
play.
one of the worst things you can do.
When it
When
comes to
you're
role
watching.
playing, yes.
Because that's one of the other things too, is it's a little intimidating getting into something where like you're doing it for the first time and everyone around you has been doing it for so long.
Well, you're going to want to start a game like right at the beginning, right? You're not going to want to hop into a game. I don't
Yeah.
think.
But like most games, jumping in new, it all depends on how your dungeon master or game master is.
Storyteller, basically.
Your storyteller.
Right. No, I know that.
I've
Give me a little credit
I'm
here.
just trying to help.
I do
Just
pay
trying to help.
attention just because I don't play.
I've had to teach in my group 2 or 3 people how to go, how to start, and so I've gotten fairly good at teaching people how to get into it. So much so that at Quantum, for about 3 years, I was running a D&D session there once a month, teaching new people how to play.
Yep. Derek, my phone died. What's the next topic?
Are movie trailers too long?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
All right, that's done. Topic after that.
Well,
Back to
I think
community.
it was like our first episode. Like I said, that I was like swearing off trailers.
Yeah.
Because they give away too much.
I don't know,
the
man.
The idea is the National American Theater Organization, and they call themselves NATO.
That's amazing.
That's what I thought too.
Can they do that? 'Cause
NATO
NATO's
says
got
movie
guns.
trailers
yeah, NATO's
too
kind of
long.
already a thing.
I love it. NATO says movie trailers too long. Man, since the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO's just got its
Yeah.
thumb
They
up
have
their
nothing to do.
Like, I don't know, maybe movie trailers should be shorter or some shit. It's like, really?
Yes, unanimously agreed.
But I mean, so they've been saying trailers are too long. They want to start limiting trailers that are shown in front of movies.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't see what the big point is. I mean, most trailers I see on the beginning of a movie anyways, I've already seen 7 times because it's been on YouTube for like a month now.
Well, when I
Or
went to
my
see-
big, or one
They
of a
should
dozen
be shorter.
websites. Yeah, the ones in front of theaters should be shorter because most people see the trailers online anyways.
See, no, I think they should be shorter in general, and they should give away less of the movie.
Like when I went to see The Hobbit, there was a trailer for the new Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
And there was a minute and a half there where I thought I'd gone into the wrong theater. That was a long-ass trailer.
Val and I actually have a running joke. After seeing like 9 trailers, especially if there's a long one, one of us will look at the other and go, what the hell are we here to see again? I didn't say it was a funny joke. It was just a running joke.
I'm glad you didn't.
But there's
say
also
that.
a difference between a trailer and a teaser, right?
That's true.
Where like teasers, like I'll see a teaser and I'll be like, holy fuck, I need to see what's going to happen in that.
Yeah.
You know, so like teaser sounds like something you might be more interested in, where it's just like you don't see shit, but it's just enough to get your dick hard.
Yep.
And then a trailer's more like, hey, here's 8 clips from the movie. You know,
Oh yeah,
which is
because they're
just
proud
like,
of it.
and it's like here's a dude that you see him die in it. And it's like, well, you know, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So maybe a combination of trailers and teasers, a little less trailer, a little more teasy.
Like, I mean, stop giving it away for free, Warner Brothers. Just, show me a little something, and that's enough. I don't need to know everything that happens. Like, part of the attraction should be the unknown, right?
Maybe that's
What I
things you
hate
don't
now
see.
is we're getting trailers for trailers. When Ender's Game...
Well, that's a teaser, right?
But not even. They're like... Ender's Game released a video, said, yeah, the trailer's out next week. Here's a clip from what you'll see in the trailer.
That sounds horrible.
And then next week, here's the Ender's Game trailer, including that clip that they showed you a week earlier.
Well,
I feel like that's one
the
of the
book
heralds
came
of the
out,
apocalypse.
1970 something?
And has been re-edited 2 or 3 times to accompany new thinking.
At this point, if you don't know what happens, it's your own fault.
I can't argue that.
It's going to be a fun movie.
It's got my Mr. Ford in it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope he still has the earring.
That earring never makes it into a film.
Damn it, it's just so funny. Everyone comments on it whenever he does like an appearance. I remember I saw he was on like some late night TV
Jimmy
show.
Kimmel.
And he was completely trashed. And he was just sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm Harrison Ford. Oh yeah, I have this earring. Oh yeah. I was in Star Wars and he's like touching his clothes, and I think it was Conan actually, and he was like touching Conan, and they were touching each other, and
Isn't
Conan
he
was
like that though.
I don't know.
Like maybe he's just drunk a lot.
Yeah.
I would be.
It doesn't bother me, man. I want my Indiana Jones and my Han Solo to be drunk and just fucking grabbing shit and wandering off. I don't want him to be too prim and proper on things.
Marion, come here.
Right.
He's not drunk. He's senile.
Right.
That's the problem.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with senile.
But I've heard that Harrison Ford does not like doing interviews.
Right.
He's only ever been to a convention once, and that was Comic-Con. That was like 3 years ago for Cowboys and Aliens. And the joke was he had to be handcuffed and dragged onto stage because he doesn't do conventions.
Can you really blame some of those people, though? You know, like, if that's not your thing, if he's an actor and he enjoys acting and he doesn't like doing that other stuff, like, I know, for instance, like, Steve Martin, he's an introvert, he doesn't like doing a lot of stuff, you know? He ends up doing a lot of stuff, he can do a lot of stuff, but he doesn't like doing it. It never really bothers me when someone's like, listen, I'm not comfortable doing this stuff. I'm just like, hey, you know, I get it.
Lucy Lawless, Xena, her price for coming to a con, now I don't know the exact numbers, but are ridiculously high.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like,
Good.
ridiculously high. It's to ward off conventions from wanting her.
And if they actually end up paying it, then
She's
it's
like, oh, hell yeah, I'll go. If you want to pay that ridiculous amount for me, I will come.
Well,
but it's that high because I don't want to do it. But she doesn't want to seem cold to her fans who always want her there. So it's like saying, I'm available, but not really, as long as we all realize this. But if you're willing, I guess I will.
Remember a few years ago, Gaiman did the appearance for a book signing in Minnesota?
Yeah.
And some politician or other went like, they spent this much money to bring this guy in there, and kind of kicked up a little bit of a stink. And Mr. Gaiman was just like, look, I charge this much because I'm a writer, not a speaker. If you're taking me away from my job, I don't actually need the money, so I donated it all to a literacy program in your state.
Nice.
And the money was bookmarked to bring in speakers who were writers. So what
And
are you
really,
gonna do?
fuck you. If you want me to go to a thing, I'll ask for whatever I want. You know, if anyone ever had a problem with that, I'd be like, fucking don't have me then.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's their world, you know, and if people have a problem with that and they want to bitch about it, it's like...
And as someone who's actually had to help run a con for the last 4 years, it's not like we're getting taxpayer money and wasting it on this speaker, or we're some school board that wasted it on the speaker. We are, especially those of us who are fan-run conventions, we are volunteers who are running our own volunteer fundraisers who are getting money from geeks who want these people.
Yeah.
So it's geeks paying us, it's geeks giving their money so we can bring in the people they want to see.
The I don't know, the whole thing about, you know, people not going to cons and can you blame them for it? I look at it the same way as, like, in my opinion, if these stars don't want to be in the spotlight at all. You know, some people say, like, oh, well, this is the life you chose, like Harrison Ford, for example. You know, he used to be a carpenter, and then he did Star Wars, and now he's a household name. You know, that's the life you chose, man. You should have stayed being a carpenter.
No, he chose the life of an actor.
Yeah, you know, like, if somebody enjoys their craft, which is acting,
and really, you can't predict how much the world is going to blow you up and want you to be in every city. So, like, if it happens and you start going places and you find out it's not really your thing, all that attention, being away from your family, and someone were to choose, hey, I'm not going to do it anymore, I respect that. I think it's fine.
If they want to do that and still be in movies and still do what they want to do, that's great.
Yeah,
Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
I enjoy the work. I don't feel they owe me anything. But at the same time, it's nice to meet them when I do meet them.
Right.
Like, and Louis C.K., or Louis C.K., like, he has this whole
You
thing.
corrected it to the wrong one? How dare you?
No, he says Louis C.K.
He does.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Last interview I saw with him.
Yeah.
Really?
He may have been screwing with the interviewer, though.
I'm pretty sure he's been Louis C.K. for a billion years.
I've heard Louis C.K.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We know who we're talking about.
Yes.
So, like, he has this whole thing where, and I respect this, he won't take pictures with fans.
Right. He'll stop and talk to them, but he won't
like,
take pictures.
Yeah, people will be like, "Can we get a photo with you?" And he's like, "No, I'm sorry, that's not really what I do. But, you know, like, what's your name?"
Right.
And then he'll have a conversation. And some people get, like, really bent out of shape about it.
Yeah.
Like,
He'd rather connect with them on a human level
Yeah.
and try to, like, interact and enjoy them than just be a prop for a picture that gets thrown on Reddit. And I understand that too.
yeah.
You know, he's a comedian. He does his time. He's on stage. You pay him for what he does. He's not a toy.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand that as well. Even the people that, like, just dodge, like, autograph seekers. You know, at first I was like, that's a dick move. And sometimes it is, but at the same time, like, if you're doing that constantly and everyone always wants you to stick around for just one more, after a while it's just like, hey, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Mind you, the people that really embrace it and show up, like I saw fucking 300 guy.
Frank Miller or Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler. He was outside of, like, one of the late night shows doing signings, and someone brought the 300 helmet, and he put it on and screamed, "This is Sparta!" And all the people were like, "That's fucking cool, man. This guy's just chilling with us." And I respect that a lot, but it's not everybody's personality to do that.
John
Well, like
Rice
with,
Davies last year for Halcon. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But we had this handmade little wooden axe, probably about a foot and a half long, right? And he went, and we were trying to get him to sign something for our charity auction. And last year, all the money was going to Child's Play. He ends up he saw the axe, he loved it, he signed it, and on the back put Gimli's first axe, age 8. And that became his signed item. He's a guy who loves signing things. He loves getting right into...
He was
thing,
having a
put on the
blast
helmet,
interacting
running
with
with the
people,
helmet.
too. Like, he was just going around having fun. Which is, you know, like I said, it's some people's personality to go and do that. Other people, if they don't want to, I understand that as well.
Well, like, I mean, I've done several cons outside of the city, like, just going and attending and having fun. And I don't know, like, I've met some huge names like Stan Lee or William Shatner, you know, gotten my photo taken with them, and that was great. Like, meeting Stan Lee was a lifelong dream, but it didn't really mean as much because it was like a manufactured event. Whereas last year when I went to Fan Expo, I happened to run into some fairly big names outside of the con.
Oprah?
No, actually, Norman Reedus.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Callies, the woman who plays Laurie, Sarah Wayne Callies, and John Bernthal. So Daryl, Shane, and Laurie from Walking
Right.
Dead, they were at a bar, and I ended up just hanging out with them for an evening.
Nice.
not once did I take out my phone and take a picture with them.
Right.
Because that would have made it a less genuine moment.
Right.
You know, I didn't know it was Sarah Wynne Callies at first until the next day, actually. So I ended up having a really awesome conversation with her for a large part of the night. I ended up, showing John Bernthal a picture of my son, and he showed me a picture of his son.
Cool.
So, like, because I didn't make it into a manufactured moment,
right.
It was just a fun little thing that we got to do.
Basically, you guys are BFFs now. And
Yeah, basically.
That's just your way of slipping that in there. Yeah, I'm kind of cool with the people from Walking Dead.
No, but I'm just saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I fucking know.
But, like, I don't know. Those types of things are more interesting. And
a friend of mine, and this is going to sound like a segue for one of the other events there. It is. But they went down to England and went to Cardiff because they wanted to go see where Doctor Who was filmed. And they're awesome. In this little pub, just taking a couple drinks. They're like, okay. They're all talking like, what do we have to do? Well, we got to make sure we tape Doctor Who because that's on this night, and we're going to go to this, and we're going to do that. And someone then just plops down beside them and says, oh, you're fans of Doctor Who. They look over, and it's Matt Smith.
Oh, that's great.
Who's that?
Matt Smith is the current actor of Doctor Who.
Okay.
And so Matt Smith is sitting there, and they end up having like a 10-minute conversation. The girl said after he left, she walked into the bathroom and just cried for like 20 minutes.
That's great, though. Like, when those quote, stars take the time for the people who got them there. So Matt Smith being, he's done. He's
done at Christmas, yeah.
Done at Christmas, being Doctor Who. Are you guys huge Doctor Who fans?
Yes.
That's another thing I don't.
I'm not a huge Doctor Who
Never made
fan.
it through an entire episode.
I'm very much a huge Whovian. Very much so.
That's great. So how do you feel about this?
When Matt Smith came... Well, Doctors come and go. It's part of the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was canonical that there's only going to be 12 incarnations of any Time Lord.
Yeah,
So is this the end of the series coming up, or
it won't be? There's no way. This is at its all-time high of fandom, right? All-time high of fame. They've been slowly writing in other possible ways, subtle things about how they can get more.
Is it going to be like a half-human Time Lord, like from that 1980s?
No, I mean, like something they introduced about a season and a half ago was the only reason Time Lords can regenerate was because they spent time in the time stream. That's how we had characters who could regenerate that weren't Time Lords. And they've said how the Doctor has spent more time in the time stream than any other person in the universe. So they've been put in subtle little things like that. So when they need to, when their time finally comes up, they can say, no, he's got more because of this, like we told you a couple seasons ago.
So, like many of the fans, do you have someone that you're like, I bet it's going to be this person? Because I've been trolling people. I've been telling them it should be Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they're like, what the fuck, man? It can't be Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm like, no, dude, Stone Cold would be perfect. And I've never seen the show. I don't know what the fuck.
All I'm picturing now is the Doctor stepping on the TARDIS, slamming two beers together,
Right.
and then chugging them both.
Stone Cold stunning
looking at a Dalek and giving them the stunner.
Right. That's exactly how it should be.
Well, The Rock does a lot of sci-fi now.
There you go.
Seeing the Rock giving.
Do you smell what the Doctor is cooking?
Finally, the Doctor's come back to
Just the
London during the
eyebrow.
Blitz.
I don't know. My pick for the next Doctor is the guy who played Rob Stark. He's out of a job. He needs a new place to work.
He's out of a
He's
job?
got the accent.
One
Yeah.
of the ones who died.
Yeah. Jeez.
Don't. We said spoiler alert
Whatever.
at the beginning of the show.
Fuck spoilers.
Who else died?
Who else died? Everyone. Anyone you ever loved. The only person who's still alive is Daenerys and Jon Snow for some reason.
Oh, Daenerys is still alive?
You haven't read Dance of Dragons.
What about the Imp? Is the Imp still alive?
I am holding out hope that he's still
Is
alive.
the Imp still alive?
He's totally still alive.
There's a couple that most people say will not die just because they're such pivotal / favorite characters.
And they're the ones that are going to die in the next book.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
how George Martin works.
Huh.
I heard a great theory at the story, actually. It was kind of nifty. That Jon Snow is not actually Ned's son.
Oh, I love this.
He's actually...
his nephew is one I've heard.
Yeah, his nephew is he'd be the half Tungarian from Ned's sister.
It makes sense in terms of the timeline. Like,
makes
he's
sense
old
in
enough,
terms of the
and he
timeline.
was born at the right time that he would have been conceived when they were away together.
So what does that matter?
Well, in
He's still
theory,
dead,
there
though,
should be
right?
3 of them. 3 heads of the dragon, according to the necromancers. And if we assume that
One had his
Daenerys,
head melted, right? with the
Well,
gold.
but
Yeah.
he's dead, so and he wasn't.
Dick
he
his
got
brother's
burned.
He wasn't a dragon.
He got burned, so he probably wasn't a real dragon.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Daenerys is one.
Okay.
We can assume that if this theory's right, then Jon's the second one. My money's on Tyrion for the third.
But if he's the second one, is he still dead then?
Dead's fairly relative.
Especially considering, as my wife
In
was
this
saying
show
this
as
last
well,
night,
right? Like, so in this is
in
like
a show where
fantasy
we
people
have
cannot be dead.
zombies,
Were there
Yeah.
zombies in this show?
there are Deathwalkers. There are actually zombies.
The Whites.
One of the characters,
See one in the opening scene.
Oh,
who
okay.
died last night comes back. I guess it's going to be about 2 seasons now.
What? Season and a half?
About
Wait,
season and a half.
wait.
Comes back as a zombie and fuck shit up.
That's
Are
awesome.
you guys talking about Cold Hands?
No, but
Am I
It-
on
no,
crack?
am
Who
I
am I
wrong,
thinking
or
of?
is Cold Hands Brendan
awesome.
Stark?
Cold Hands is totally
this
Benjamin
ruined a
Stark.
bunch of
Okay,
stuff
cool.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Stark comes back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
she was just.
Fuck this podcast. Ruining all my shit, man.
The book came out 10 years
Yeah.
ago.
So long ago,
The
guys.
Red
Come
Wedding
on.
was Red Wedding, the one big episode last night, was published 6 years ago. That's when that one came out.
I have just been giggling.
Nobody reads books anymore.
Yep,
That's true.
That's why Game of Thrones is now on audiobook for
Do
free
they?
this week.
Do they have audiobooks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
I would
how I
totally
read
listen
them.
to shit
just,
out of that.
But it's like 90
bring a memory
CDs
key over to the
'cause-
computer. I'll download them onto a stick for you.
That's great. Awesome. Beautiful.
I will listen to
of
the
the
word.
books you've legally bought, of course.
I will.
Actually,
I will.
yes.
I will not go and take them from you. I will go and legally buy them myself.
That's probably good.
You are aware
Yeah.
winks don't translate on podcast?
I wasn't winking.
Yeah. no.
I got mine
literally
from the
paid for them. They're
library.
Actually, I
mine.
will
If you want
check
to borrow
the
them,
library
have
Yeah.
at
to
it.
see if they have them.
Yeah, that's how I read like pretty much all of my books is audiobooks. It's so much more
But you know
convenient.
that's not
Yeah,
reading, right?
I'm pretty
sorry
sure
about Altered
read's
Carbon
not
there.
the right term.
Yeah.
But
Well, to me, it's still
can
reading.
I get an audiobook of The Crossed?
Yeah.
The whole audiobook is just somebody retching. Oh,
And a lot of
oh God, why do I have to read
the
this?
salt scene.
and a lot of sounds of meat getting hit with a baseball bat. Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure some people will be into that shit. Not I. I
Well,
think
people
seeing
that are into the
3
comic
pages
book.
of it was enough for me.
As you said
Oh.
last time, you can't stop now because that'd be admitting a mistake.
Yes. At
So
this point, it's
we
a
brought
lifestyle
it.
choice.
We brought it back to The Crossed
You
yet
always
again.
do.
As we always have to, once a week.
It's our thing.
I refuse to be ashamed of this.
I didn't ask you to be ashamed. Own it. Own it.
I have no choice at this point.
So that I believe concludes another fabulous episode of Table of Geequals. Thank you, Ivy.
It's a pleasure being here.
She lied.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Anytime, guys.
And thank you to my co-host of the week, Gavin. And, of course, thank you to Derrek.
And no thank you to PigMonkey.
Yeah,
Who the fuck
seriously.
Are you? Come on.
God, pull your fucking weight, man.
All of it.
That's
I
a
am-
lot to pull.
Yeah. He's probably
Dude,
tired.
You're not getting invited
Yeah,
back.
no.
That's it. That was the last
You
straw.
know we're recording
Oh, the
this,
week
right?
of geeks is
Yeah,
just gonna
you know
vanish
that,
now.
You know that that PigMonkey will be listening to this, right?
He get it, so yeah.
Okay.
Little jabs.
I'm Alex, and
I'm Gavin.
we will see you next time.